I think you have a unique experience of having, now in the second business with the same co-founders. And I don't imagine you guys have, or maybe ready to write a book yet on how to be the world's best co-founders, but I'm sure you've learned some things that might be really helpful to other people. And so I'm curious, just at a super high level, if you could kind of share two bits of feedback there. And I think one, what have you learned about being a great co-founder to your other co-founders and just being a good part of a team? And then two, what have you learned as a team that's helped you be more successful over time? Or what are some key things that just help you work well together?
First thing comes to mind, I'd say, is transparency. I guess I'll back up. Eric was CTO at AdExchange. I was president and COO. Peter was chairman and CEO at that company. Fast forward now, Eric and I are co-CEO. And I know that probably doesn't rub everybody the right way. Everybody's had kind of a pretty unique point of view on why a co-CEO standpoint could or couldn't work. Eric and I have an incredible relationship. We were fortunate enough to go through a liquidity event together. We were able to hit the reset button together. But during that time, I think we've been able to carve out our lanes and we're able to have a communication path that allows us to, one, give negative feedback in a comfortable manner. That is something we have been working on really hard this year, and to how to have a tough conversation and how to make sure that that person feels heard. And so you can give somebody feedback, but if it's in one ear out the other. So we've been able to really allow us to give feedback, but then make sure that that person is being heard. So we repeat it right back if I understood you correctly. And so being able to hear that feedback, we were fortunate enough as well to bring in a coach to help facilitate some of these conversations, but also help us grow as co-founders and co-CEO. We have our lanes pretty clearly defined. I think Eric with the technology background, acquisition, digital experience, and I'm more on the operations, customer experience, and finance side. So we have our lanes to play in, but I think it's the having a tough conversation is something that I think I'm always going to be working on. But the work that we've put in as co-founders, I've also seen pay off in my personal life. And having those tough conversations with a significant other or a family member has been incredible. And I'll tell you, I'm not great at it. I'm still learning, but it really is an art though, to be able to have a tough conversation and receive feedback, but then also be able to iterate. And I think one other point I wanted to make on kind of our success is also being vulnerable. We complement each other really well on kind of where we're working in the business, but we're also really honest with each other. As I mentioned earlier, anxiety has been something that's been tough for me to navigate, but being honest with Eric as we show up week by week and saying, I'm already feeling a little anxious this week with a few things going on. I just wanted to let you know I'm having these feelings or I'm having these emotions. And he's receptive to those. And he's also stepping up and saying, okay, hey, like maybe I need to be a wee bit more optimistic this week and, or take this off his plate. So I think that transparency and being vulnerable has been a big part to it.
Yeah, it's such a